Then we have seen where is equal to condition. Then we discussed
replace
label
label is equal to
label
the label. Password is equal to
password
the
is equal
password.
password is equal to
password.
Hmm.
repeat
program
Replace
VBA
is equal to by default we have you can write replace is equal to no. Then we have seen PGM is equal to program
is
name.
equals to
program name.
Then view is equal to view name. And of course, we have also discussed no list option.
yes sir.
And after that, we discussed about in-file statement. In the in-file statement, if you have in-stream data, we write the data lines. And if you have a text file data, we write the path of the text file,
Path of the
path of the text file, and then we specify the .txt. And now that depends on the data. In the in-file statement, what we can do? We can write different types of options.
options.
What were the options that we have seen? We have seen DSD.
DLM,
DLM is equal to special
is
character.
equal to
We have seen DLM STR is
DLM
equal to
STR is equal
DLMS OPT is equal to.
SOPT is equal to
Then we have seen first OBS is equal to by default 1.
One
Then we have seen OBS is equal to by default
OBS equal to
max.
maximum,
By default, we are going to have an option
Flow
called
over.
flow
flow
over.
over,
flow over
Now we can write
scan over,
miss over.
miss over
stop
Then we
over
have seen
stop over
stop over.
stop over,
We have seen stop over.
scan over,
And then we have seen
scan
scan
over
scan over.
scan
scan
over
over.
Very good. And after that, we have seen how to write multiple in-file statements, isn't it?
yes sir.
We have seen how to write the multiple in-file statements. And after that, we have discussed about, we discussed about a few, what you call as an automatic variables. We have seen end is equal to variable. We have seen length is equal to variable.
Length is
And
equal
we
to
have
line.
seen line is equal to
line
variable.
is
And then after that, we have discussed how to create a file name statement and then how to use that file reference instead of the file path. Is remember that one?
yes
Yes,
sir
yes sir,
You can write the path of the file here. And then after that, we started discussing about the input statement. I told you in the input statement, we specify the variable names, isn't it? Now, after that one depends on the data. How we have that data. Based on that, I told you we can use different types of input methods. And first of all, we have seen column input method, and then we have seen list input method. In the list, we
Simple
have
and
seen
advanced.
simple. In the simple, we have seen two, and then we have seen advanced.
or modifier
advanced
In the advanced, we use different types of modifiers. So that's why this is also called as a modifier input method.
modifier
fire input method. Yes.
So remember, we have seen dollar symbol,
dollar
symbol,
ampersand
colon
hyphen
symbol,
Ampersand,
symbol.
colon, slash,
forward slash
We have seen hash symbol.
at the rate,
We have seen
Hash.
forward slash symbol, and we have seen
at the rate,
multiple. Yes, we have seen multiple input statements, and then we have seen
formatted
yes, we
input
have
method,
seen formatted input method, and we have seen
named input method,
Named input
and we have seen
null point,
mixed
mixed input method.
fixed input state
then we have seen specifications.
specification, single trailing and double trailing.
In that, how to use single trailing method, we have seen single trailing and then double trailing.
At the rate.
Very good. Then we have seen data line statement, or you can write the cards, or I told you, if you have a semicolon every time, we can write the data line.
Data line 4.
Yes. For run, we should write.
But when we have a
And
data
then-
line 4, we should use 4 semicolons. And then we have discussed run statement. Clear everybody so far?
Yes sir,
Now, so far, as we discussed, we have discussed about the data statement. We discussed about in-file statement, and we discussed about input statement, and we discussed the run statement. So in today's class, we'll see which statement we use, in which scenario. Of course, we use a data line statement also. Okay. I want to create data set from in-stream data. Okay. I'm creating a data set from in-stream data. So this is my in-stream data 101 5000, 102 6000, 103 4500 and 104 7000. I want to create data set. Tell me what are the statements you should write. Data ds1.
Data,
Do you, re-
infile,
do,
infile.
do you require infile? Do you
No,
require
no,
infile?
input.
No,
No,
sir.
no,
No, sir. Input.
No, sir. No.
Input,
input.
ID,
ID
salary,
salary.
Salary.
then
Data
data
line.
Data
lines,
line.
semicolon, and
Run.
finally,
Run.
Run.
now tell me, if you want to create data set from in-stream data, now do you require in-file statement or do you require data statement or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we require data
Yes,
statement.
require.
Yes. Yes.
Do we require in-file statement?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
Not mandatory.
No.
When we have a comma or when we have a special character, then only we require in-file. Otherwise, you don't require
No need.
in-file statement, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
What about the input statement? Do we require input statement?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. If you want to specify the variable name, sir, you have to write input statement. Now, do you require data lines?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We require data line statement. Now, do you require run statement?
Yes, sir.
I told you run is not mandatory. Without
Mandatory.
run also we can execute the program.
Exactly.
Remember?
Data lines 4.
So
Yes.
no, you don't require data lines for. When we have in-stream data, only semicolon is enough. Now you'll get the data set. Can you see? So run is not mandatory. Only semicolon is also enough. So run is not required. If you do not have if you didn't keep the semicolon, then what we should write? You should write the run statement. Otherwise, run is not mandatory. Now, I want to create data set from text file data. Okay. So when I'm creating a data set from the text file data, so tell me what are the program that we will write? We write data,
Data.
set name,
EM.
In
File.
in
Path
file,
of the file.
the path of the text file. Say for example, in the SAS, I have SAS data folder. In the SAS data folder, I have demo one text file. Shift right click, copy as path. Now go to the program. I'm pasting the path in the infile statement. Then I'm writing the input. I want to have EMP-ID, name dollar symbol, age $6 symbol, salary location dollar symbol, semicolon required. Run. Now tell me, do we require data statement or not?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. If you want to
Yes,
specify the data set name, you have to give the data statement. Do we require infile?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So
Yes, sir.
mandatory because you need to specify the path. Do you require input statement?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we require to specify the variable name. Do you require data lines?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Do you require run statement?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, so 100% you require run statement. Okay. Now, I want to create a data set from an Excel sheet. You know the program, right? How we let the program? Proc,
Proc,
import,
Import.
Data lines.
Data line.
data file is equal to path, then out is equal to data set name, then
CDMS
DBMS is equal to
XLS.
XLS, replace,
Replace.
semicolon.
Run.
Now tell me, do you require data statement?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No. Do you require in-file statement?
No.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Input?
No.
No.
No, sir.
No. Data lines?
No.
No.
No, sir.
Sir.
No. Run?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now I want to create data from CSV file. Okay. Almost we are going to the same program, but here it is going to be .csv. Okay.
Yes,
So it is going to be CSV.
CSV.
So if I want to create data set from CSV file, now do we require data statement?
No.
No, sir.
In file,
No.
No.
No, sir.
input,
No.
No, sir.
data lines,
No.
No.
No, sir.
run.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now I want to create a data set. I want to copy data set from same library. Say for example, here in the work library, I will execute this program. In the work library, I have EMP data set. From that EMP, I want to create EMP1 data, EMP1 semicolon set.
Run.
Now do require data statement
Yes.
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 Yes, sir.
in file,
No, sir.
input,
No.
No, sir.
No.
data lines,
No, sir.
No.
no, run.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, very good. Now, I want to copy data set from different library. Say, for example, in the SAS self library, we have a class data set. I want to copy that with the name of class 1 into work library. So data class 1 set SAS self.class semicolon run. I'm copying from different library. Now do require data statement.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
In file,
No.
No, sir.
No.
input,
No, sir.
No, sir.
data lines,
No, sir.
No, sir.
No.
run statement.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Very good. On my desktop, here I have CDs folder. In the CDs folder, I have a folder called raw. In this folder, can you see what we have? I have few data sets.
Data sets.
Very good. I want to access all these data sets into SAS session, current session. I want to access all these data sets into SAS. How we can access? How?
By creating a library.
Very good. By creating a library, we can now see how to create a library. Tell me one more time.
Lib name.
Name of the library.
Path of the folder from which you want to copy.
Semicolon. Yeah. Sure.
తను చెప్పాడు నాకు నేనే మేనేజ్ చేశా అంటే నువ్వు దర్జాగా మేనేజ్ చేస్తావు బ్రో నేర్చుకో దాంట్లోనే వాళ్ళు ప్లేస్మెంట్ కూడా చూపిస్తారు అని చెప్పాను. సో ఏమన్నారు అయితే అది మాట్లాడారు కదా వాళ్ళని.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I lost the internet connection now. I hope now we can hear. My screen is visible?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
No?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You don't know how to create a library? I want to have library name, lib name. I'm letting the path, reference name, and then I'm going to specify the path of that folder.
Semicolon.
Now this is how we create a library. Now, so I want to access SAS data sets from external folder. External folder. Now tell me, if you want to access from the external folder, all these are SAS data sets only. Now tell me, do you require data statement?
No, sir.
No.
No. Do you require infile statement?
No.
No, sir.
Input?
No.
No, sir.
No. Data lines?
No.
No, sir.
Not all.
Run statement?
No.
Very good. Now, again, in this folder, I have so many data sets. Yes,
Sir, once file name ki syntax చెప్తారా sir?
ఎందుకంటే డెవాప్స్లో ఫస్ట్ థింగ్
simple. How we create a library in the same way. Say, for example, I want to create a syntax. Now, I want to create a file reference for a text file which is present on my. Say, for example, I'll do one thing. I'll go to the SAS folder. In the SAS folder, I have SAS data folder. In that, I have CSV folder. In that, I have a hot CSV file. Okay, I want to create a file shortcut. How to create a file shortcut? Shift right click, copy as path, go to the program. Tell me how to create a file shortcut.
File name.
File name,
File name.
whatever that name you want to have, give the name and then path of that.
Reference.
Semicolon.
If I execute this one line, we are going to have a shortcut.
Shortcut.
Whenever you want to import, say for example, here I want to import that one, you know what we should do? Data file is equal to simply what I can do now. I can write the reference
File
name.
name.
Training.
Out is equal to I want to have a hot. Now see, if I execute the program, so that a hot CSV file will be get imported as a hot data set in my work library. Understand? This is just like how we create a library in the same way. But you should do the file name, file reference name, path of the file. It can be any file, either CSV, text, Excel sheet, or PDF, Word document. You can create a file shortcut for any file. Clear?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now here in this folder, in the SAS folder, I'll do one thing. Again, I'm going back to CDs folder. CDs folder on my desktop. Okay. In the CDs folder, I have again, what happened? So in the CDs folder, I have, raw folder. In the raw folder, I have so many data sets. I want to copy only this informed consent data set, informed data set. How we can copy only inform?
Right.
Get the path of this one. It is a data set, by the way. Now, how to do that one now? In data, new data set name, I want to have it as an inform only. Set the path of the data set. Semicolon run. By the way, remember, this is a data set. Can you see what is the extension for SAS data set? Can you see how it is extension? SAS 7B data. So this is the extension for SAS data set. Okay. Okay. Now, if I select the program, execute the program. Yes, now say I'm going to have inform data set. So now tell me, if I want to create a data set, I want to access one data set from external folder. Understand this one? Now, in this scenario, you only tell me, do we require data statement or not? First of all, let's go.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Do we require data statement? Do we require in-file statement?
No.
No, sir.
No. Do we require input statement?
No.
No, sir.
Data lines?
No.
No, sir.
Run statement?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we require run statement. Okay. And then I want to extract data from database. Remember, I told you on the other day the program to extract the data from an what you call database.
SQL.
Very good. Proc SQL. You should write connect to the data name, and you should write a user is equal to username.
Scott type.
Then you should write a password is equal to the password. Now, then what I should write now? After that, we should write create a table name. I want to have table name, say for example, MP as select. Remember on the other table, so we should write one more time connection to the database name. And then after that, again within the parentheses, you should select star from EMP dataset, close the parenthesis semicolon. I told you should write, disconnect from the database.
Can you repeat it, sir?
Pardon?
Can you please repeat it?
So whenever you want to extract the data from a database, I hope you guys are listening to the SQL classes. We use SQL to extract the data from database. SQL is an example for RDBMS tool. I told you in the real time, data will be present in a database, isn't it? So data always present in a database, because where we can store huge amount of data with a better security and a better, you can do it by, very organized manner. So we need to get this data from the database into SAS. And sometimes we need to put it back, the same data again back into the database. Okay, so either way you should do it. Now, how to get the data from a database into any analysis tool? I told you SAS is an example for what? ETL tool. Do you know what you mean by ETL?
Transform and loading.
Extraction,
Extraction
transformation,
and
and
loading.
loading. SAS is an example for ETL. R is an example for ETL. Python is an example for ETL. Tableau is an example for ETL. Java is an example for ETL too. Isn't it? So how to get that from a database into SAS or any ETL tool? You can get the data from that by using a concept called RDBMS. What is RDBMS? Relational database
Database
management.
management system.
What is the most widely using RDBMS tool? SQL. Now, how to get? So you should write a program in SAS to get the data from a database in a table form, in a form of a table. I told you SQL is so important. That's why SAS implemented SQL in itself, and the SAS implementation of SQL is called as a proc SQL. Now, how to connect to a database from SAS? You should write connect to database name, and within the parentheses, you should write a username. So, for example, in your system, you have a cracked version of SQL. So, what is the username you will write? You will write the username is equal user is equal to Scott, and password is equal to you will write a tiger. And then create a table, whatever the table name in SAS you want to have. You should say, for example, I want to create in the work library EMP dataset now work.emp. As select, you should have one more time connection to the database name, and then select a star from. Remember on the other day I told you what you mean by star? Star means all the variables.
All variables.
All the variables. Of course, in SAS we call it as in variables, but again in SQL, how they call it as they call it as in a columns.
Columns.
So select to start from EMP. That means in the Oracle database, if you have an EMP data set, now we can get that into SAS. Now tell me, if I'm extracting, tell me, do require data statement. Did I write anywhere data statement there?
No, sir.
No data statement, right? Now, do require infile statement?
No.
No.
No. Do require input statement?
No.
No.
No,
Do require data line statement?
No.
No.
No, sir.
Do require run statement?
No.
No, sir.
But what is the statement we write there?
Wait.
Quit statement. So these are the different ways that we use so far to create a data set, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Now everybody has an idea about this table now. Anybody has got any confusion regarding this table? If you understand this table, so that I can understand, you have an idea about that what we have learned up to now.
So can you please explain about inform again?
Which one?
Sir, why only that variables are selected, sir? Data, infile, input, data lines.
What is that? I didn't get you.
Variables, sir. Data, infile, input, data lines. That statements.
These are not variable. These are statements.
Yeah, but in that
Common
column,
statements.
These are the
Common-
statements so far that we learned.
but we have also data file set.
Those are not statements, no.
Those are
And
not
forget about the set. Forget about the set statement. These are the statements that we learned so far.
Okay. Those are called, sir.
These are the statements that we learned so far. I am telling you, this statement we use in what scenario?
Okay.
ఏ స్టేట్మెంట్ ఎప్పుడు యూజ్ చేస్తారు? ఇప్పటి వరకు నేర్చుకున్న మన స్టేట్మెంట్స్ అన్నింటిలో
Yes,
వాట్
sir.
స్టేట్మెంట్ దట్ వి యూజ్ ఇన్ విచ్ సినారియో? దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ ఐఎమ్ ట్రైయింగ్ టు టెల్.
Yeah, sir. But data file అనేది స్టేట్మెంట్ కదా, కమాండ్ అనేది ఆప్షన్.
Data file is a part of proc import statement.
Okay.
So if you see this proc import, this entire thing is one statement. Data file is not in a separate statement.
తను యాక్చువల్ గా అంటే మొత్తం అలా
So
చేసి
proc is a statement, right, sir?
మా కంపెనీ
If I started something here, proc import is the statement. I stopped it here something. This entire thing is one statement.
One statement. Yes, sir. Up to the semicolon, the entire thing is one statement. Yes, sir. Got it.
ఆఫ్లైన్ క్లాసెస్కి వెళ్ళాడు.
Clear, everybody?
Sir, please explain about the proc SQL connector. Sorry.
తను ఫ్రెష్ అయ్యాడు.
If you want to get the data from a database, this is how we should read the program. I told you, unfortunately, in my personal laptop, I do not have any database connection. So this program will not be get executed. If I execute the program in the log window, it will show in a warning error saying that Oracle database connection not established. Now, this is that a connection to the Oracle DBMS is not currently supported because I do not have a database connection. In the real time, if I have a database connection to my system, by writing this code, I can extract the data from whichever database you have given. Say, for example, in the real time, if I use Rave as my database, connected to Rave, in the real time, they're going to provide me a username. Whatever the username they provided, I'm going to the username, and then I'm going to specify the password, whatever they have given. So by writing this statement, there will be a connection will be get established between the database and my SAS. Once the connection has been established, now by writing this query, I will get the data. So what I'm doing here, I'm creating a table called EMP by selecting from where? Selecting, again, you should one more time connection to database name, select a star from EMP. You know that this is called a query. A query is nothing but a select statement. In the select statement, we are going to write clauses. Here, I told you, and your SQL faculty might have told you, in select statement or query, you should have two mandatory clauses. Those are select and from. Isn't it? Those two are the mandatory clauses you should have. So select the star from, star in the sense, all the variables from this EMP dataset. So this EMP right now present in that, say, for example, Rave database. So from this Rave dataset EMP in the SAS work library, I'm creating EMP. While I'm creating that way, I'm copying all the variables of EMP dataset into SAS work library EMP dataset. Once you copied it, once you extracted it, we need to disconnect properly. So again, I'm writing one more time, disconnect from the database name, which is Rave. And then you should write the quit statement. This is how we can connect from the SAS to the database, and then that is how we are going to retrieve the data into the database.
Okay, sir.
Okay, this is how we are going to write it. So now by seeing this table, now can you please tell me when we require in-file statement?
Text file.
When we have text file data.
When we have
Only text file.
so
Data in text.
in-file statement we require. Okay, when we have text file data, sometimes we require when we have in-stream data, isn't it? Because that is not mandatory when we have in-stream data. So when we have a comma delimiter or any other special character, then only we require in-file statement.
In fact,
Now tell me when we require input statement.
So when we want to specify variable
implement text file, sir.
text file data.
When we have a raw data, when we have a text file data. In-stream nothing but what data? In-stream is nothing but raw data.
Raw data.
You are sure about that one, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, so we require input statement only when we have raw data and when we have a text file data. Now, can you please tell me when we require data lines statement?
When we have in-stream
We
data.
require only when we have a raw data or in-stream data.
Data.
Now, in the real time, okay, in the real time, almost you will never get in-stream data, or very rarest of rare cases you will get only text file data. Okay, then if you do not have a text file or in-stream data, Now, do we require in-file statement?
No.
No.
Do we require input statement?
No.
No,
Now, do we require data line statement?
no, sir.
Okay. I'm getting background noise from somebody's side. Can you keep your mic on mute? Okay, so that's why most of the faculty members, they never discuss about in-file statement and input statement. But why we discuss the in-file statement, input statement from the last 20, 25 days, in-file statement and input statements are very important, to understand SAS and to have a proper foundation, basic foundation in SAS. And it is very important. We don't require in-file input and data lines in the real time. So I didn't focus much on these statements. I didn't ask you much about the task that whether you have done it or not. But what we are going to discuss from now onwards, it is going to be very important for the real time point of view. Understand this one? Somebody might have attended, some other faculty members' classes, or you might have seen some online class or something. Try to ask, do we require data statement? Do we require in-file statement or input statement? They try to ask the question. So this is where, in the real time, most of the cases, how we are going to get the data. If you are into the clinical domain, you will get already a SAS data set. That means this is how they're going to provide. They're going to give the SAS data set. When you have a SAS data set, how we are going to access this data? Simply by creating a library. Now, in few cases, sometimes you may get the data from an Excel sheet or maybe from CSV file. So when you have a data in Excel sheet and CSV, what is the program you will write? You will write proc input. Sometimes, if you are into the banking domain, sometimes very rare cases you'll get the data in a text file. But you never will get the data in a stream or raw data. So text file is also very rare stuff, rare cases. So that's why they never discuss about the in-file statement, input statement, and even the data lines also. Understand this one?
Yes, sir.
But interview point of view, SAS foundation point of view, SAS understanding point of view, basics point of view, what and all we learn. Same problem for everybody?
No, sir.
No, sir.
So SAS foundation basics point of view, these things are very, very important. That's why we learn. Understand this one? So, but from now onwards, what and all we are going to discuss, these are very, very important. So I'm not going to leave you from now onwards. If you didn't do the tasks, I'm not going to leave you. Clear everybody so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, on my desktop, I have a SAS folder, but while I'm demonstrating certain programs, certain statements, creating a dataset by importing an Excel sheet or getting the data from a library will take a lot of time. So that's why I will create a small dataset by taking in-stream data. Okay. So I want to have a simple data set to explain certain concepts. So in that scenario only, I will use in-stream or raw data. Otherwise, in the real time, you won't get that. Now, what I'm going to do, I want to create a data set from a text file data on my desktop. Okay, I have SAS folder again. In the SAS folder, I have SAS data folder where we have the SAS data. Okay. On my desktop, I have a SAS folder. In the SAS, what happened to the SAS data folder? We should have SAS data folder now. Is it got deleted? Here in the SAS folder, I have SAS data folder. In that I have a demo1 text file. So I want to create a data from here, copy as path. Now I'm writing a program data. I want to have a data set name emp,
In file,
the path of the text file. Then I'm writing input, emp id, name dollar symbol, age, sex dollar symbol, salary, location dollar symbol, semicolon. Very good. Now tell me, if I execute this program, what will happen now? It will create a data set in the work library. What is the data set that you will get?
EMP.
Okay. Now I will go to the log window. In the log window, this is the information I can find. Right now, this is the only information that you can understand. The data set work.emp has 23 observations and 6 variables. And it will tell you how much of real time it is used and how much of CPU time it has been utilized. Now tell me, in the log window, you can find only this information. How many observations that we have, how many variables that we have. But I want to know what are those variables and what are those observations. If you want to know that one, what we should do? No other choice. You have to open this data set. Isn't it? By opening the data set, you can understand what are those variables that we have and what are those 23 observations, what values that we have. We can understand only by seeing this data set. So if you want to know that information, obviously what we should do, we should open the data set. Okay. But in today's class, I do not want to open this data set to check what data that we have. But I want to see the data. Now, if you want to see the data values, so far we have only one choice, that is to open the data set. But in today's class, I do not want to open the data set. So now we have a new statement called put statement. If you specify any variable name in the put statement, you know what this put statement will do? It will write the values in the log window. Now I'm writing, say, for example, put, I want to see employee ID value. I'm writing emp ID semicolon. Now, if I execute this program, you know what is going to happen? Of course, you will get the data set. If I execute the program, a data set will be get created. And at the same time, if I go to the log window, oh, can you see what happened now? In the log window, it is writing all the 23 values of employee ID. So now where I can see employee ID values now? We have two choices.
Log
One
window.
is data set and another one is log
In the
window.
log window.
And by the way, I want to see the name values also. If you want to see the name values also in the put statement, now I'm writing the second variable name. If I execute the program, you will get the data set in the work library, and at the same time, you can also see the values in the log window. Now, can you see? Now we have employee ID values and we have the name values also. Now, where we can see these values now? We can see these values in the log window.
Data set log window.
Now, by the way, I want to see age values also. Now, in the put statement, I'm writing a third variable age. Now, all the three values we can. My question is, you know, between the employee ID name, what is the delimiter we have?
Space.
Very good. So we have a single space.
Space.
Now, can you see between the name and age what we have?
Space. Space.
Again, we have a space. So that means in the log window, between the values, what is the delimiter we are having? The delimiter we are having is in a space. And by the way, I want to see the gender values and I want to see the salary values and the location values also. If you want to see these values, again, what we should do in the put statement, now I'm going to specify the next variable sex and the next variable salary and the last variable location. Okay. Now, if I select the program, execute the program, now what is going to happen now? All the 6 variable values will be written down in the log window also. Now, can you see? We have employee ID value 101 space, name value Visha, space age value 29, space sex value female, space salary value 34,000, space location value Hyderabad. So now we can see all the 23 observations in the log window. Now this is the data set. Here we have a 23 observations. Now the same values now we could able to see in the log window also. But if you want to see in the log window, what is the statement we should write?
Put statement.
Put statement. Now tell me, if I write in the put statement, if I write EMP ID, what happened?
We'll get only EMP.
Only MP ID will get.
We got only employee. But if I execute the program, we are going to have only employee IDs, just 101, 102 like that. But in the log window, sorry, in the put statement, if I specify EMP ID is equal to, that means if I write a variable name is equal to, you know what will happen now? In the log window, it every time it will write variable name is equal to value. Previously, we used to get only data. But now can you see what is the difference between these two? This time, every time we are getting variable name is equal to value. So if you want to have every time variable name is equal to value, what we should write in the put statement?
Equals to.
We should write variable name is equal to. Now I am writing space. Now I'm writing name is equal to. You know what will happen now? Every time it will write name is equal to Usha, name is equal to Kiran, name is equal to Ramu, name is equal to Leena, and so on and so on.
Sir,
Again, I want to
No
have,
need
yes?
of dollar symbol, sir.
No, you should write dollar symbol only when you're reading the data in the input set. Otherwise, you do not require dollar symbol anywhere.
sir, what is the use to see the data in the log window, sir?
You come to know
Why?
that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
సార్ ఇప్పుడు డేటా సెట్ లో ఎలా ఉంటుంది సార్ డేటా?
So data normal గా ఉంటుంది. You'll have a variable name and you will have the data.
అంటే పుట్ స్టేట్మెంట్ తో సంబంధం లేదా సార్?
No, put statement is only to see the data in the log window.
ఓకే.
Put statement will not interfere in the data set.
ఓకే సార్.
Okay. Now, if I tell me what is going to happen if I age is equal to
Age also
equal to 20.
every time you'll get age is equal to age value. Okay. Now, if I write the sex is equal to, again, what will happen? Sex is equal to female, sex is equal to male, like that we'll go to get sex is equal to sex value. In the same way, if I write sal is equal to, every time it will print sal is equal to salary value. And finally, I am writing LOC is equal to variable name. So every time it is going to print the location, LOC is equal to the location value. Now, this is how we are going to get. Understand this one?
Yes, sir.
Now tell me one more time, if an EMP ID is equal to what will happen?
EMP ID is equal to ID.
But if I write only EMP ID,
Only the
Only
value.
ID will
Only
have
values.
you'll
Not
get
the
only the value.
variable.
the value.
You'll get only values. Okay? But now in the put statement, what I'm going to do, I'm going to write something within the quotations. Now I'm writing, say, for example, like this. Sorry. I'm writing something within the quotations and then followed by variable name. You know what will happen now? In the log window, it will print this text, which is employee ID is colon, and after the text, what it will print now? It will print the employee ID value. And every time we are going to have a text and then followed by the value.
Okay.
So whatever you write within the quotations in the put statement, that information will print in log window. And if you, after that one, if you specify variable name, that value will print. Now I'm writing again within the quotations. Now I'm writing, and you know, the name is colon. Now after that quotations, now tell me how it is going to print. It is going to print like in a statement. The employee ID is 101 and the name is Usha. Understand? So it is going to print as a statement, as a sentence. So if you write anything within the quotations, what will happen now? Exactly that what we have written within the quotations, it will print every time. And after that, if you specify variable name, and that variable name is going to print, variable value is going to print. Understand this one, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So somebody asked me, what is the use of put statement? Tomorrow and day after tomorrow, you will come to know the use of put statement. Okay? Clear, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then. See you in tomorrow's class. Okay?
Okay,
Sir, can
sir.
I add a put statement in instant data also, sir?
Okay, thank you,
Anywhere, you can add anywhere.
Sir, whether put statement is case sensitive, sir?
No. Data is case sensitive. I'm
We
not.
can write both in.
No, I'm not. We do not have a data. This is not a data, right?
Yes,
So it is not at all case sensitive. Only data is case sensitive.
yes. Oh,
Okay,
Sir?
guys. Yes.
One day we will remind all the commands and the statements what we have learned up to now, sir. Someday, some other day, sir. Hello.
Hello.
సార్ ఏదైనా ఒక రోజు మనం ఇంతవరకు తెలుసుకున్న స్టేట్మెంట్స్ ఆప్షన్స్ అన్ని ఒకసారి రివైజ్ చేసుకుందాం సార్.
Sure.
హలో.
Sure.
ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Thank you, sir.
Available.